Good day, panels and jury. I am Julie Pearl Bibalien and I'm going to discuss with you my project entitled KALINGA, a Disaster Prevention and Education Center. In this video, I am going to discuss 5 major key points about my project. First is the background of the project, then the project itself, the concept, the site, and the architectural drawings. To start it off, I am giving you a little background about the project. Different disasters may come across the Philippines since it is within the Pacific Ring of Fire, and Filipinos may be shocked off guard if and when a disaster hit in. Based on studies out of all the continents, Asia once again named as the most at-risk nation when it comes to recurring and emerging hazards such as typhoons, super typhoons, earthquakes, pandemic risk, floods, and heat waves. Our country is visited by mostly 24 to 48 typhoons a year, and 3 of them are considered to be of super typhoon strength. According to an article, San Fernando, Pampanga is listed as 5th at the most at-risk cities in the world, wherein the project is located. The 2012 Habagat typhoon tried and tested San Fernando, Pampanga's capabilities to mitigate, prepare for, respond to, and recover from massive flooding. And this is one of the reasons why the city local government has decided to improve and relocate their CDRMM office to have a better facility and to be ready for any disaster to come. The project will have 2 functions. First, mainly is for disaster response, and the other is for normal situation days. During disaster response, the site will act as a central base of operation for disaster in San Fernando, Pampanga. It will also serve as a temporary relief base for victims for the city locals and nearby cities. It can also serve as the base camp for supporting troops that is needed during disaster. The key building during disaster response will be the command center and the cyclone shelter. While for normal situation, the site will act as a base of training and simulation such as fire simulation, earthquake simulation, typhoon simulation, etc. Training for first aid, firefighting, and other related disaster preparedness activities can be held within the site. The project can also be open for seminars in line with disaster preparedness. Other daily activities will be daily monitoring and emergency responses. The key building during normal situation days will be the Disaster Prevention Museum. The concept behind the project is based on the shape and form of Penrose tiling and pentagon. Natural disasters are caused by the basic elements or powers such as fire, air, earth, water. Humans can be added to the list because often, man through his action can have a negative effect on nature. The regular pentagon symbolizes the harmony between man and the elements. Therefore, I choose it as a starting point for our form shaping. The regular pentagon can be divided into sectors from which 2 forms are derived, which are the kite and dart. Inspired by the 5 element symbolism and by the Penrose tiling, buildings will be designed using this form shaping. Design philosophy would be Form and Function are One by Frank Lloyd Wright. This philosophy will be followed in line with the proposed project since it focuses more on the functionality of the building, especially during disaster times. Here are the design considerations I applied during the design process. First is the accessibility of the site, then the reachability of the people to the building, usability of the site, orientation of the building, and safety of the users. These are the materials that will be used throughout all the buildings. First is curtain wall with low E-glass and tubular transom, then fabricated biselee, concrete cladding with grooves, concrete hollow inclined column, and aluminum composite panel. For the structural system, the system that will be used will be steel and concrete column, concrete wall, I-beam framing, steel trusses, and concrete slab. Architectural character that has been applied to the project are wide open spaces, taller windows, maximized use of natural lighting, promoted walkability, and flexible use of spaces. The site is located at Barangay San Isidro, San Fernando, Pampanga. The land use in the area is mostly institutional according to its zoning classification. The total lot area of the lot is 68,094 square meters or 6.8 hectares. A lot beside the proposed lot has been donated by a private sector to the government to serve as main road that reverses to the ongoing developed road, which will be called Tourism Road. The site has been divided into 3 zones. First is the yellow zone or the public activity zone. Next is the green zone or the educational activity zone. And last is the orange zone or the private activity zone. This zone focuses more on the public activity within the site, as this project focuses on disaster response. Evacuation center or cyclone shelter, as called here in the project, will be located near the public access so that the public users can access the said building easily. Training ground is also proposed so that it can be converted into temporary shelter too in case of public surge. Educational activity zone will be the focal point of this project. Disaster Prevention Museum will cater public and private users wherein they can learn provided disaster prevention program and simulation. The said building is located in the center so that the users are already limited to their movement and so that they would have limited access to the Zone 3. This zone is dedicated for government activities and disaster response. Private access road is being proposed so that in case of emergency, they will have easy access in and out of the site. It is located at the rear side of the site so that the public users have minimal view of the activities within the private activity zone. Helipad is also proposed so that in such an instant of a disaster, air travel can be accessible if needed. Utilities such as MRF and STP is located at the rear back end of the site to avoid contamination on the existing creek. The sewage line is also located at the rear end of the site. For the road access, private access is highlighted with purple color while the public access is highlighted with blue. From thorough studies from site analysis, here's the proposed site development plan with its development control and technical lot description. For the parking lot, the computed total area as per building code is 2,523.62 square meters. For the admin building, orange space are for the public users, the semi-private space are the conference and waiting area, while the private space is the open office. One toilet is provided for the guests and one toilet room is provided for PWD. All proposed toilets are based in Plumbing Code of the Philippines, while fire exits are provided to both sides of the buildings. For the clinic, 4 exam rooms has been provided. X-ray room and pharmacy is located at the ground floor for easy access to the guests. Fire exit is located at the rear end and front right of the building, For the second floor, laboratory is located here for privacy purposes. One common toilet is also provided for the staff. For the command center, all spaces is in accordance with San Fernando CDRMM organizational chart. Lift is located 13 meters away from the entrance. The left side of the building is composed mainly of semi-public spaces and utility spaces. Operations and warning section is located at the ground floor because this department are the ones who are in charge of emergency responses. All ramps are designed with accordance with BP 334 with a ratio of 1:12. The total length of the ramp is 9.6 meters with 1.5 meter rest and 0.8 meters of height. Fire exits are located at both sides of the building. For the second floor of the command center, emergency operation room and media room is located right in front of the lift for easy access from the guests and public users. Second floor is composed mainly of the private spaces which are mostly office space. Fire exit stairs are located at both sides of the building. For the roof deck, it is mostly open space for maintenance purposes for the lift and provision for AC outdoor units. For the cyclone shelter, ground floor is mostly open space and concrete slab. The purpose of the open space is in case of disaster, animals that need shelter can be placed here. Laundry area is also located at the ground floor for the refugees. For the second floor, all rooms is proposed to have accordion wall for privacy purposes. Roof deck is an open space provided with solar panels. The stored energy can be used during disaster in case of power interruption. For the Disaster Prevention Museum, simulations and training are located at the ground floor. It is proposed to be located at the ground floor so that in case that they want to expand or add simulations, they can use the extra spaces at back end of the building. Focusing on the simulation, here's the flow of the program. First is the orientation room where guests are oriented with the program. Then the hazard and geomap gallery. Next is the first aid training room. The disaster theater. Smoke maze room. Firefighting training room. Earthquake simulation room and evaluation room. Souvenir shop and cafe area is located at the ground floor too. For the second floor, conference halls, exhibition hall, and seminar rooms are located here. Library is located at the west wing. While for the fire exit, it is located along the hallway. On east wing, the admin office is proposed to be located here. The admin has its own entry stairs connected to the ground floor for privacy purposes. Right beside the entry stairs, the fire exit is located here. For the fire station, the ground floor consists of the admin office and the fire station bay, while the bunk rooms, dining, and kitchen are located at the second floor. For the police station, it is mainly composed of the private spaces. 2 cells are proposed located at the back of the building. And lastly, for the warehouse, all spaces are based on San Fernando CDRRM list of equipments. Proposed parking space is located at the warehouse bay for drop-off purposes, and the warehouse bay can serve as space for packing and sorting. Lastly, here's my walkthrough presentation of my project KALINGA, a disaster prevention and education center. Again, I am Julie Pearl Bibilian and I hope you enjoy my presentation. Thank you.